We are live.
Live.
Hey guys, thanks for coming. We've got Tim today over the years. I'm so excited. I am. I'm so excited.
We got Tim today.
We've got Tim. No, I am excited. He's got the knowledge that I desire. So you do. It's incredible. So we've talked already on YouTube even and messaging, and you've helped me a lot with some pieces, but I don't know, just to have you for a full show is pretty cool. So thank you. And of course Tommy's here.
Yeah. Tommy. You don't have any knowledge I desire, but you got cool hair, so I like
I was telling Tracy too. I got a nice little shape up. I had to look good for y'all.
Did you get the long part trimmed too?
I mean, just a little bit of my dead ends.
I literally don't think that I have enough brain power to comprehend all the glass knowledge that he had. Like, I'd have to wipe out a whole nother category somewhere in my brain. I'm tapped out.
I think you would prefer to smash the glass.
Yeah, like it's just, man, it is so. I look at the glass, and I sent Tim pictures of my auction, my local auction house, like 2 weeks ago. There was so much there. I was baffled the whole time. I had no idea. I mean, no idea. And he instantly sends back circles like, buy this, buy this, buy this.
I mean, it's super interesting because, like, so I was talking with Las Vegas Thrifts today on Instagram, because like he had watched one of the videos and he was like, wanted to know like some names to look for glass. And I'm like, it's crazy because when you have to try to explain it to somebody, it's completely different, because especially with glass, because so much of it is not marked, and
most of it, I think, is not.
I guess you're safe to say about like 75% of it. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, what is like the best way for me to like explain to somebody?
So is it safe to say you're looking? It's kind of like I was listening to the replay because I missed the first half of Tracy and Crystal's chat yesterday. They were talking about vintage clothing, and she was talking about not buying by name brands, buying by style, by look, by. Is it kind of the same thing? You just got to know. You got to know how you're going to be able to. You're going to sell it by your description, right? You're not.
It's totally very similar. So when I'm out looking for glass, first of all, like 99% of clear glass, I stay away from. Like, I mean, obviously, like if I started thinking about it too, because for example,
even like lead crystal.
So like I stay away from all of that.
Okay.
But like for example, Waterford crystal for a time was like super popular and very like valuable, but the market for that is like, I mean, everything goes in waves. But like that market crashed real hard. But there's certain pieces that people are still look for, but more like
the old stamp, right?
Well, not even just gold, but like anything unique. Like for example, I sold I had a diamond shaped Waterford clock here.
I'm sorry, we're gonna just stop for a second. We just went running out of the gate. Let me say hi to a few people.
Oh yeah,
I just sit here first. Thank you to his favorite reselling couple, who are not a couple. And now we have a threesome on.
I was gonna say this is a menage of reselling now, right?
My favorite style, right here, guys. So we also have Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Thanks to here. I appreciate the super chat. He had to stop us just to get us to say hello, I think. There we go. Hi, Kaylin. And we've got, goodness, it's going all over. Marie and Sunny. Natalie Boone. Hi, girl. I'm going to reach out to you tomorrow. Rosie's Closet. Jennifer Hayes. Georgina, Louise, Mike, the crazy card. Oh my God, a rare sighting right there. Parrot head picker. Hi, Andy. Oh.
It always feels special when you see Andy, right? You're like,
I do.
Something's right.
Something's right in the world. That's right. Definitely. And we've got, let's see, who else? Harry Tornado, Eric, hello. Chernock and Brad was here. Moonlight Moolah, cool. If I missed anyone, hi. We got Stu, the best troll. Cool. So I feel complete that Stu is here. Lisa, a couple of pickers. I know I missed some of you, but let's get back to glass. So Waterford clock.
Yeah, so it was like a diamond-shaped Waterford clock, but on it, it was inscribed from the PGA Tour. So like I found it at a yard sale and I bought it, for like $2, and I sold it at the flea market for 50. So like for me, it's just you definitely have to have an eye. But it's like, for example, like with the clothing, you look that big graphic, like when you're talking about like vintage sort of clothes. It's the same thing with glass. So like with clear glass, I just stay away from it because the market's not there. But like with that sort of item, I appeal to somebody who crystal. I appeal to somebody who likes golf. Appeal to somebody who likes golf. Appeal to somebody who might like, miniature clocks.
You
So
stay away,
like,
kind of like I stay away from books because the fines are like 1 out of 1,000 that you're gonna pick, right? It's that's probably what it is.
And so like I try to familiarize myself with certain things. So like for example, the Lalique stuff, like clear frosted, or clear like figurines, glass. Like sometimes I'll see them and I'll do a bottom check just to make sure, because that Lalique
That's
is
the
like
first thing I do when I meet a girl is do a bottom check. Like that, you can ask the wife. She's in here. That's the first thing I saw was the bottom.
Checking for the hallmark.
Was it signed?
I'm lost, Georgina. I'll just throw out like random things to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, like and have no idea what I'm saying. So
I see.
And then it's just
so,
like,
okay, hold on. But you said in Lalique's case, you would buy any of it, obviously.
Absolutely. Anything Lalique, I would totally buy. Like those glasses I told you guys about that I sold. It was, a set of 8, and they sold for, I think it was $275. So it's like, Lalique is something. There's certain things that no matter what the market bears, no matter like what's in style, people will always buy it.
Okay, let me ask you a question since we're on Lalique. They make a perfume. Did they do that just to make a beautiful bottle? Or
it would make sense that they're doubling down, basically.
Yeah, okay.
They're like, we have a strong name, so we're going to throw out this perfume. People will probably buy it, and then we can make a really cool bottle that's going to be jack up the price value-wise for the perfume. So the perfume might not necessarily be like the best smelling or highest quality, but it's coming in a Lalique bottle. So
right. Okay. Just curious.
And then, so outside of that clear stuff, then it just comes down to the colored glass. Majority of like colored glass, because you can tell from a mile away. Well, maybe not in the beginning, but you can tell from a mile away what's new and what's old. A lot of it is feel, like new glass feels like cheap glass.
Okay. Like if you're talking about a cut, well, I know it's okay, Tommy, it's called deep cut, right?
As far as what, like
the cut glass with the angles and the
so you have cut glass, you have pressed glass, so
okay,
those
so
are
if it's rounded, it's like if you were to touch the edge and that is kind of sharp on the edge, that's a cut glass. But if it's rounded on the edge, then it's a what?
More than likely it's pressed glass.
Okay, and that would be
they're ripping everybody off because all them cuts is just less glass. Why don't they just make it full glass? They're driving up this traffic for less work and less material. So,
it's a wild. It's a wild thing. A lot of the glass companies. This is the thing too. Is like a lot of these glass companies aren't in business anymore. There's nobody that was like high end glass companies, American glass companies that are making glass anymore. And like and the thing is like a lot of times you'll see some of these like glass companies like Moser Glass, and then you'll have Boyd Glass. So what happened was a lot of these other glass companies bought the molds that the older glass companies were using, and now you'll see them putting out reproductions of these old patterns. So like then you go into like there's Victorian glass, which is like there's some makers of English glass back in the that made like Vaseline glass, which is like one of my niches, I guess you would say. And then you have your early EAPG is what you'll see a lot, which is early American press glass. I mean,
you're
like,
going too fast. Hold on. Let's slow down.
I've been lost since high.
Okay. Okay, so Vaseline glass, I know what it is. It's like,
it looks like
but,
old Vaseline.
right.
That'd be like
And
prison.
it's usually yellow, the color of Vaseline.
Yes.
But a lot of people call the green one Vaseline, and a lot of people call the same thing depression, and the same thing can be uranium because that depends if it glows or not. But so what's the difference between Vaseline and depression?
Okay, so depression glass can be any color. It's just a term used for glassware that was produced during and in and around the era of depression. Okay, so you'll see it primarily in these colors: green, which a lot, I'd say like 90% of green depression glass is uranium glass. You'll have a yellow, you'll have an amber, a pink, and sometimes blue. Those are going to be your colors for depression glass.
Okay.
So
So
then,
let's start with baby steps. If you had to tell people in the chat, they're one color glass you should always look up. Would it be pink?
no,
Green.
right now, green.
Yeah.
I've always heard like anything you've talked about pink be like crazy high,
There, and that's the
but
thing.
it's less good stuff, I guess.
Well, yeah, exactly. So like, think about like a China set. When you release a China set, you know, you have plates, cups, saucers, sugar, creamer, you know, butter dish, things like that. So there's certain pieces of pink in certain patterns made by certain companies that are like impossible to find.
Like Pyrex, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's not China, but that's
glass. Pyrex is technically glass.
Right.
But like depression era, you know, like if you could find like certain patterns, the pink depression glass salt and pepper shakers, like I mean, you're looking sometimes $300-$400.
I never see those. I never see them.
Yeah,
Why?
sometimes $10-$20. Like,
were they rare, or was it like? Why don't I ever see them?
Well, see, this is the other thing too. Is like so, or glass, right? The thing that makes them more valuable is the ability of them to be broken. Okay.
Right.
So for example, like old China sets, the teapot is always typically the most valuable of all the pieces because the spout is easily broken. The lid can easily be broken, you know? So it's like same thing with the glass. It's like, if you have, you know, salt and pepper shakers, they're hard to like, they're so small, they're hard to keep intact over all of these years. So that's why they become more valuable.
Yeah.
I see somebody asking me if I carry a UV torch.
Okay. That, and yeah, someone asked, okay, Kaylin said she's got a bunch of green glass at her grandmother's. So Tommy has a UV light.
I have a flashlight, yeah.
Yeah,
all I got to do. I've seen Tim's pictures and they're just mind blowing. Like his pictures are insane. So
yeah,
and there's no. It seems like if it is uranium, it's not mistakable when you shine it under the light. It's like pretty just obvious. There's no.
Oh wow, that's gorgeous. Oh my god.
So this is made. I picked this up at a thrift store not too long ago. This is made by Cambridge Glass Company. You will see. There's a lot of other glass companies that use this similar. I mean, it looks like a fish, but in the description world, it's called dolphin. Right. But like you'll see how that glows. It glows green.
Yeah, like iridescent or something, kind of.
You know, so it's like if it were not uranium glass, it would just come out. It would come out, you know, blue like how the light is, or purple. You know, like this is just a piece of Fenton cranberry glass that, you know, I picked up the other day for $2.
Do you have any Vaseline glass next to you? Somebody was asking if you could show like the difference between like depression and Vaseline.
I don't have any Vaseline glass next to me right now. Everything I have right here next to me is just uranium glass. So like this is one of my favorite pieces. This is actually a perfume bottle.
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So this is the method in which they make this is called, I believe, bullacante, which in Italian means controlled bubble.
Oh.
So it's controlled bubble, and then you see it has the
wow.
Yeah.
So I can see something like that being described like with dropper, without dropper, like like it's like
Oh, yeah.
because that thing was like
100%.
it could get broken like easily.
Right.
And then like the other thing that you want to look out for, and this is like fire. Now, not all of this is gonna glow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this
I
is
know, right? His sweatshirt is bad.
I missed it.
Do your
Oh,
mama.
That is awesome. Oh my God.
Is that a repop from Marshalls? Because they've been like selling the crap out of Poetic Justice shirts lately.
Oh yeah, I got this from Burlington.
Yeah. I thought so.
I was like,
but it's
because
cool,
I
though.
have my football podcast, so like that films so much that I'm like I have to have a new shirt for every episode. I can't.
It gets expensive.
Yeah, so I'm just like I saw this, I was like, man, that's kind of dope. I'm gonna pick that up.
Mhm.
But yeah, so this is what you call jadeite.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, old jadeite, which is made by two companies, McKee and Jeanette. So those will glow. Like you
All
see how
the
that
time?
goes green?
Mhm.
All the time. 90% of McKee and Jeanette will glow.
Okay.
I mean, like, this is
Now,
another
okay,
crazy
but
thing.
beware because the jadeite, they've come out with it again. It's at Target right now.
Yep.
Are they? That's not going to glow, right?
No, that will not glow. But
Okay.
there's also other jadeite pieces that are highly collectible that don't glow. Now that's made by Anchor Hawking Fire King.
Hmm.
So like Anchor Hawking Fire King, like for example,
But
there's
they're
one-
always marked. I've never seen right those two companies.
except for like the egg cups, those don't have markings on them.
Okay.
But like you'll see those also. And I mean it's just there's so many different pieces. But like for example, I'll give you a like crazy bolo. I've always wanted to use that word, but bolo.
Is it going to be your barber? Because he's got a slick fade, man.
No, I know this fade is
Brand
sharp.
new.
No, so like there's a Anchor Hawking jadeite, Anchor Hawking Fire King jadeite swirl pattern. It's the 5-inch bowl. It is one of the most highly sought after pieces that you can find of that, like Anchor Hawking Fire King jadeite. I mean, because like most people have that set of the swirl bowls, but they don't have that 5-inch. Like that is like one of the grails of
Do you
jadeite.
think it was because people didn't purchase it? It was just an extra, or because they used it so often and they broke it?
Yeah,
A little bit
yes,
of both.
Crystal. He uses a little black light. I think. Did you get yours on Amazon as well?
No, I got mine from the hardware store. I have like 5
okay.
of them. Like
Yeah,
I
they're
keep one in my jacket. I keep one here. I keep one at my house. I keep one in the car.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive though. Steve Judgment Care sent me one in the mail, and it was like I think $7 or $9 or something.
Yeah.
It's really high quality as well.
Yeah. So like and this is the thing is that like for me, some of the funnest pieces that you find are the pieces that are uranium glass that don't glow. So like back to the whole like basic question, right? So Vaseline glass is used by the collectors. So like hardcore collectors refer to Vaseline glass as anything that is like that yellow tint. Okay. So like a lot of times you'll see it in an opalescent. So for those of you that don't know what opalescent is it's almost like a cream, and it goes like an ombre to the regular color, So like opalescent glass, typically most Vaseline glass will be opalescent, but then you'll find some that are like, EAPG, which like I said before is early American pressed glass. You'll see a lot of that will be, Daisy and Button is an example like of a classic early American pressed glass pattern. Okay. And then uranium glass is green, okay? Or anything that contains uranium in it. The reason why you see the crossing of the words is basically because of keywords. Because like if you look on Instagram, there's more posts in the hashtag uranium glass than there are Vaseline glass. But like if you're looking for a hardcore Vaseline glass collector, they're going to be looking for Vaseline glass, because there's people that only collect Vaseline. They don't collect the uranium glass. Then you have people that collect anything that glows. you know, and like what I've noticed is so like
they probably can't wrap their head around all of it. They have to pick one and run with it and like learn it because because everyone is so blown away. How long did it take you to learn all this? Just so everyone knows. So because everyone just feels stupid right now, like, you know. And
all right, so
let them know that it didn't happen overnight, right?
And how, like, why you learned it. Too.
Okay, so basically, when I was a kid growing up, my mom and my father were collectors and semi-dealers, right? So I would go to the flea markets, the auctions, the yard sales, all that stuff, right? And so like I had a basic knowledge as far as just like how the world existed and what existed within the world, right? And I knew like maybe two companies, Fenton, and as far as glass goes, and then Wedgwood as far as China goes, right? So I maybe about 2.5 years ago or so, my mom, she got diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so she just doesn't move around as well. So like I was like, you know, I'm gonna come up there because I live in DC and she lives in Maryland. So I was like, you know, I'll come up there every day and kind of help you like make things easier for you. And so like I was like, you know, going through her basement, and I'm like, Mom, you got so much stuff. Like, what are we gonna do? So I'm like, you know, talking her through, like, all right, you got to make decisions here. What's gonna make the cut? What are you gonna keep? What are you gonna get rid of? And so like I remember at one point it got bad. She like had like a landline phone, and I'm like, Mom, I put it in the box to go get out, right? And she's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? What are you gonna do with this landline phone? Like, you don't even have a landline anymore. Like, so like she got really upset, and then like eventually she was like, she realized like, okay, you're right. So then it was like boom from there. And then I'm like, okay, now I gotta figure out how to get rid of this stuff. You know, like my mom had sold on eBay way back. You know, she used to sell you know, Holt Howard stuff, the you know, the really fancy expensive pixie wear. And so, you know, I was like, all right, let me look at eBay. And I started looking at eBay. I'm like, I don't know, this is kind of like old and like the value isn't really there. So I just like did more and more research, and I was like, all right, Etsy. So Etsy appears to be like this like booming market for like vintage and antique items. So I started listing them one by one, and it was just like, all right, you know, this is moving super slow. And then like I knew nothing at that point. I literally knew nothing about China, nothing.
Well, because if you don't have that pattern or the proper terms for that piece, I've sold stuff I know for too cheap. I know it.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how to research it right.
And I mean, that'll happen still. Like, I by no means am like even close to where I want to be as far as knowledge. You know, there's people who have studied glass for decades.
Right.
I got 2.5 years under my belt. But the thing is like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. You know, like there's no like half-assing. There's no like, you know, like that's just my mentality. And so manganese glass. All right, real quick, I'll answer this.
Of course, it's just sitting right there.
Okay. So this is actually Fenton Amberina. So Amberina is going to be this like red to orange to yellow tone here. Okay. So what I know to be manganese glass is glass that is yellow, amber, or red that under a black light will turn, like, it's hard for you to tell, but it'll like brighten up the yellow and the orange. In some pieces you'll see it'll stay on.
And you can see this more in the dark, like if you go into a dark room or something.
So like I have a bunch of manganese glass pieces too, but like a lot of times you'll never know what that they are. But like typically they'll be amberina, they'll be or just an amber color. You'll notice companies like Kanawa, they're a glass company from West Virginia. Blanco, also another glass company. Those two, a lot of their amberina pieces will be manganese glass. So like I started doing the Etsy thing.
Okay, say that again. So it's only the red though that they put that in.
Yeah,
manganese.
It's like an amberina, not necessarily. So it'll either be red it'll be amber, or it'll be amberina, that red to orange to yellow color. And like when you'll see on like my Etsy page, I have a bunch of that manganese glass too. But that's super popular also, because it's anything that glows will be popular.
You guys watching, honestly, you want to follow his Etsy store and his Instagram. It's all over the years. He's pretty much branded the same way.
Who asked that question is Stu. He's not only like the biggest troll in the world, but he has some.
So like look at that.
Yeah. But
like that right there, I mean, it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
But
we have a lot of UK in here right now. So what would you tell them to look for, like over there versus here? Because a lot of the stuff you said were American-based companies just now.
Mm-hmm.
I bet with their history, they have some craziness over there.
Well, I bet they find American stuff over there is more rare over there. They can probably get
for sure. But there's definitely like a bunch of, most of the English stuff is like Victorian. So late 1800s style glassware. So the other thing to look for too is like you might get a lot of Czech stuff over there in the UK. Bohemian glass is what they refer to it as. I mean, you have Stevens and Williams, Herrick glass. That's like that real fancy applied glass.
Is that the HARIC?
HARRACH.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But like it's manipulated amongst language translations sometimes. So like it really depends. But the other thing that's like super crazy is so in England for me is like I love the China over there.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm a huge Flow Blue guy. Like I have a ton of Flow Blue books. So like
okay, you know that most of us are going, okay, Flow Blue.
That sounds like a toilet bowl cleaner. Like that literally sounds like a tablet you sit in the toilet and like.
I mean, I know because you've shown me before, but do you have a piece you could show us?
And how many people because I know Stu has so much knowledge that he don't like to pretend he has, but he probably knows exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, hey Ma.
Duke.
Oh, there's a piece right there that's damaged. Pass me that plate right there.
Is she gonna say hello to us?
There you go. Stu's his Bagley and sour beef.
She's not gonna come in and say hi.
So this is Flow Blue.
Okay.
Okay.
Now you'll see a lot of blue and white China, but
yeah, like Royal Dalton and stuff.
But this is like, if you really look at it, you'll see the bleeding, specifically on the back of the plate. Like you see how that blue bleeds through.
Yeah. Your girlfriend's at a bar in DC watching, dude. She's just in the chat. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So you'll see the markings right there too. And so be careful. I was telling Tracy this the other day. You'll know it's a repro Flow Blue. Hey Josie.
Is she really at the bar or is she just being silly?
No, she's really at the bar.
Nice. She getting tore up.
Okay. That's good to know in case she comes to the reseller rally. I'm on the bar with her. Josie is Tim's girlfriend, and Ma Dukes, who did not peek in and say hello, is his mom.
Yeah. So we are like a team, pretty much.
Everybody got her shipping stuff. He told her she's got fibromyalgia, but she's also his packing and shipping person somehow.
Yeah, so, she's an OG. Like
you gotta keep moving, or
my dudes don't like to. She has to do it. She's a true G. It's funny because somebody asked on my last video, they're like, "How do you pack this stuff?" And so today we filmed a little video that we'll probably put out sometime tomorrow, giving you guys a breakdown of how we ship all the valuables.
That's valuable information, right?
Yeah, because and that's the thing is sometimes I charge a little bit more for for shipping just because it's a lot of it's a lot that goes into it. We like put 3 to 4 layers of stuff on our items. Like I see people on Facebook with these tragic stories where they're like, they open their boxes and it's like all broken in pieces and it looks like they just shipped it in paper. And I'm just like, what goes through these people's minds?
Did you see what Stu said? He dropped a couple names to look for UK glass.
There we go. Hold on. Right there. Bagley and Sowerby.
Yes. So same sort of stuff. I've sold a couple. They make really nice applied glass, applied and custard glass. So applied glass is when you have a base glass piece, and then they'll take another glass. This is all blown glass, and they'll apply that piece of glass to the already base glass,
to the outside edge, that's the design, and sometimes it's colored and sometimes it blends in okay.
And so you'll see a lot of that also. And then I think I saw somebody else in the chat say bohemian glass, like that's the Czech stuff. I mean, they make some really intricate glass work too.
Yeah, Tax Shack's got some names too that I can't pronounce.
So Murano is like
some is great and some is not. So that's a tough one for me.
Murano is super difficult.
Yeah.
So like when I first started, like to me, Murano is more of a style than anything. So Murano is not necessarily a maker. Murano is a place where they make glass in Italy.
It's like a city or a town or something.
Yeah.
Or a village.
And so there's different artists and stuff like that. And some Murano is marked, some isn't. Some is new, some isn't. So it's like
they're still making it to this day. Yeah.
So
I know it's crazy. And Josie, just like that's something I've been thinking the whole time. If you have this knowledge that he has in Goodwill auctions, like just think of what they don't know. There's no way they can possibly. I bet he can just score.
So I for a majority of last year, like I was getting like maybe like 10 to 15 items a week shipped to me. But like people started getting hip to it, and now it's like saturated with collectors and resellers, so it's like it's almost impossible unless
they got to be good to identify.
Unless they slip up, because a lot of people are just searching by keywords, so like that jadeite pinch decanter that I sold on eBay. So like I'm on eBay now too. I do.
Wait, well, okay. So can you just tell everyone what are all of your platforms right now?
So right now I am on Etsy, eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Grailed, and Depop.
And you're newly full-time. So
yes. So I'm like 2 weeks in full-time. So like I just launched. I kind of had been on Mercari a little bit before, and I was just experimenting with it, but I got super lazy with it for a while. So for me, it's just like, and like I'm learning all this new stuff at the same time.
You'll find they're all very similar. You have to list daily, and
exactly.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It doesn't matter what intricacy they have, like Poshmark sharing. You cannot share and still get tons of sales just listing.
The whole Poshmark thing, that is just like the rate in which all that stuff goes. It's like there's so much going on. Like I wake up and I look at my phone and it's like 635 notifications.
Yeah, some of those. You want some of those notifications just turned off
but you probably have something on there that's pretty, because people get tied to their platform. Like the people are set in their ways. They don't have time to go shop on 7 platforms a day. So you'll find that just like why you can sell something for $20 more on Poshmark than you can on eBay or Mercari or wherever, because people don't have time to go to one. So if you find these glass collectors and you start putting this on Poshmark because you can sell it in the home section, you can probably get more on there than you can eBay.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's super interesting is that like, so for me, every day I'm learning something new. Every day I'm experimenting, because for me, it's like, I try my best to be as innovative as possible. So, like I don't want to necessarily just do everything the way that everybody else does it. Like I like to pick, like I watch so much information daily. Like I pick little things from everybody, and I kind of just, I'm in there stewing up. I'm dropping every little ingredient that I learned from everybody, and then just kind of like figuring out where and how I can apply it. So like for me with Etsy, the thing about Etsy is like, you have parameters. You can't post anything that's not at least 20 years old. Okay. And so the other thing is about eBay, as far as like the antiques and the vintage stuff goes, is like a lot of that, the low to mid-range stuff is super saturated and underpriced on eBay. And so what I've learned is it's best for me to post my rare items from the Etsy store and like my higher end antiques. So like, for example, one of my biggest flips ever, I was at a yard sale and I was, picking up a whole bunch of random stuff, like these like mid-century modern coasters. I picked up like a teapot, and then I saw this figurine, and I was like, I wasn't even gonna get it. I was just because I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, it had a nice hallmark. It felt well made, and the woman was like, "You can have it for 50 cents," and I was like, "All right." So I brought it home and sat on the table for like, I don't know, 3 months maybe. And then one night I'm like, dang, I'm running out of stuff to like to post. So I'm like, all right, I guess I got to go to this stuff on the table. So I pull it off the table and I'm looking at the bottom and I'm like, all right, now figuring out hallmarks in like different countries and languages can be super difficult, especially something that's like old, because it's not necessarily clear. There might be like a letter missing that's rubbed off, or the ink has combined all the letters together. So I'm like, just going at it, like research. And I find out that it was a piece of Rosenthal china. But old Rosenthal.
Right.
Like real nice. And it sold on eBay in about a week and a half for $400.
Well, if you have a good
Zahir,
lighting and camera, and you can get a very close-up detailed picture of the maker's mark, Google reverse image is amazing for that.
Yeah, but some of those maker's marks are.
There's charts out there with like
I have a book.
Class aside for months and then try again, and then I realize over the year I've spent too much time trying to figure out a stupid hallmark that I'm just done with the piece.
But like all those books, like most of them are online somewhere. Like and
that's to me is the best part about WorthPoint. So like I know a lot of people don't think it's worth it to pay for. Oh, that's my man Authentic. He's one of the dopest sound engineers, rappers, photographers, videographers out there. So we do the podcast together.
Is this his channel?
It's on that channel right there. That's our football podcast. So if you guys want to support, if you like sports, just go ahead and click on his channel and subscribe to us. He's amazing. Like he's like pushed me to get to this point as far as like my business. Like we've known each other since we were in 3rd grade.
Oh wow.
So like, we go way back, and like it's amazing. Like he's been self-employed doing the music thing. Like we were kids, had a studio here in this basement years back, and to see like where he is now, it's like we've put in so much work that like we push each other to keep going higher and higher and higher. So like it's pretty dope. I appreciate him coming in and checking
Tracy,
it out.
you missed like some really good questions. Like
I know I'm trying to catch up. There's so many. The questions are coming in really fast, you guys.
Let's do questions now.
Dwayne, leave the statements. Dwayne wants to know what your best score is. Mothership products.
Oh, that's way up there, yeah. But he kind of just said that, the Rosenthal china.
Yeah, I mean, as far as glass goes, I mean, there's so many of those that are just like $1, $2 into like 200, 150, stuff like that. That happens all the time for me. I mean, like sometimes I'll pay up if I'm at like a estate sale and I know that there's a piece there and I know that it's still good priced well enough for me to make money. But like I might have to pay $20, $25 for it because it'll be gone if another dealer or collector comes through. Like sometimes I'll do that. Okay. Now he says, what kit do I use to shoot glass? Yeah. What does he mean? Like pictures?
It's very interesting to hear how you photo.
I just put it on the table.
Yeah, I know. No lights, maybe a UV light. Like that.
Yeah, so like, all right, for the uranium glass, this is the technique. This is what I do. So I stand still and I take the picture, right? And then I'll have either my mom or Josie, if any, because the shooting uranium glass pictures you can't do by yourself, at least the way that I do it. So I stay and I hold my position from that first picture, and I have them hit the light, turn the light off, and then flash the light on it, and then I take that picture. So then when I'm, advertising it or sharing it on social media platforms, it has the same exact placement in what it looks like in the regular light and what it looks like when it glows.
Hmm.
Do you cross post your items to multiple sites or choose a site for each item individually?
Say that one more time.
Do you cross post your items to multiple sites or choose a site for each individually?
So it depends on the item. So originally I was just posting on Etsy, and right now I have probably like 1,400 listings on Etsy. So I've been slowly picking and choosing certain items to list onto eBay. And I've been experimenting with some of them on Mercari. And since I just started Poshmark, the Posh Home thing is going to be a possibility. Now, if I find like toys, like these Winnie the Pooh things, like stuff goes straight on eBay and then maybe Mercari. And then like I have like my vintage electronics, like this Walkman, that's going straight on eBay. Now clothes, I have probably so like I had 0 clothes, right? And then I've been like
watching Cernock.
Yeah, so I basically have about a pile of like 100, 125 pieces of clothing, and I have maybe I'm about halfway through them. So I started listing them on eBay, and then I finally caved on List Perfectly. Thank you, Tommy. It's totally worth it, by the way.
What is? List Perfectly? Oh yeah, it is.
So then now
that's a lot of sites you have going on.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
now I'm cross posting everything. So everything is going from one thing to another, and then except for Depop, because right now the List Perfectly thing is you have to use the beta, and it's only uploading one picture.
It's a Depop thing, a bug in their system. Evidently,
that's what I read. So I'm waiting.
Canada too.
I'm waiting to go ham on the Depop because it'll be easier. So like now I think I'm up to like 30 something listings on Posh and Grailed, but I've already sold 2 pieces on Grailed.
Right.
I sold a vintage Dale Earnhardt crew neck sweater made in USA. Then I sold a single stitch Bill Clinton 1992 playing the saxophone T-shirt.
How much do you want for the shirt you're wearing?
This is not vintage, so I literally just popped the tag off of this today.
Yeah.
In my room for a couple of weeks.
What do you enjoy reselling other than glass?
So China, obviously. Oh, I got something to show you.
I feel like we're talking to Cernock about.
Can
you imagine him and Cernock doing a show together?
Yeah, I can.
Is Jeannie in there? Is I Dream of Jeannie in there?
Yeah,
no.
Make a wish.
Love it.
You get 3.
So look. No, but so look, this teapot right here, I just scored this the other day in the thrift store. All right, this I paid $4.99 for it, and I'll probably list it for $200. So it is.
That ROI is terrible.
That is incredible shape on that.
Oh my god!
Sorry, I'm failing here. I'm mesmerized by it.
All right, so this is a Hall China.
Okay, so there's Hall China, and then there's Hull Pottery with a U.
Two different companies.
Okay.
So this is called a Aladdin style teapot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the color, which is one of their more popular colors, is cadet blue. And this gold. So they made this teapot specifically in like 3 different sizes, in like a multitude of colors and patterns. So depending upon the color and the design on it is the price. So the Chinese red Hall teapots are probably some of the most valuable ones. Like the Chinese red in this actual design is like $400 or $500. So this gold design on this teapot is called swag. So like teapots too is another big thing.
So the gold is called swag, you said?
It's called gold decorated, but that actual design of that gold decoration is called swag.
Okay, like the draping of it. Okay.
So like I love selling anything that's old and cool. That's it. I mean, I love it. And then like, so now I've gotten into the clothing stuff. Like I just literally think about what I wore when I was a kid in the 90s. Like I've been looking at all my old pictures, like, man, I gotta find that stuff. So like it's crazy. And then so now it's just like toys, I mean, vintage electronics, video games, like I mean, like I've been selling a whole bunch of NASCAR stuff too, like anything old, like it's crazy. Like I have all types of stuff over here now. Like I've literally expanded. Like I want to be like the Captain Planet of reselling. You know, like just a little bit of everything in it because it forces you to learn. You know, and it's like for me, that's one of the most enjoyable parts is like learning. Like I've soaked up so much knowledge, and then it's just like being able to like link everything together. You know, I talk about like how I do, you know, like my Instagram and the YouTube and everything like that. Like for me, I'm a straight shooter too, so I'm an honest guy. Like I'll never like, you know, sugarcoat anything. Like, but for me, it was like I got on YouTube strictly because I thought it would help promote my Etsy store, and then like I kind of just figured out what this whole YouTube thing was really about, and like it's amazing. Like I used YouTube. YouTube is like free education. It's like going to college for free. Like there's so much stuff out there. It's amazing. And like for me too, it's just like there's certain you learn more about the resellers themselves too. And it's like, you know, I don't ever want to come off as somebody that's like resell, make $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people out here that like it's perfect for them. Like people who have, you know, kids or family members that they have to be around constantly to help, you know. And it's like this sort of market has given them a chance to be at home with their special needs, you know, family members or somebody that's older and still find a way to survive in these times. And like, to me, like that's super important. And it's like, you know, I got the opportunity now to, because of all the hard work that I've done, to be able to take a shot at doing this full time. And it's like, because I can do that, I'm allowed, I get to spend more time with my mom. You know what I'm saying? I could be here for my nephew if my sister can't, you know, needs me to pick him up from school. You know, I get to spend more time with my girlfriend. And it's like, I can spend more time focusing on the music studio and the podcast. And it's like, for me, that's a luxury. I'm blessed to be able to take this chance to do it. And it's not easy in DC because
it's easier when you have that knowledge though that you have, like literally, because not everyone does.
Yeah, you're like close. Yeah, you're in like such a small. I know you don't probably can't comprehend this, but you're in such a small circle of people that know what you know. Your money's endless at this point. Like in my opinion, I mean, just think of estate sales alone. Do you know how much of this stuff is sitting in estate sales, and you get one map that's free, and I mean one app that's free, and you can preview every estate sale, go there and just destroy it. I mean, literally, and you'll learn within a couple weeks which estate sales know their game, which don't. I mean, they're so like you won't in another year once you won't be going to thrift stores anymore. It'll be for fun. Like there's so much more out there. You know, because how many times do you go into a thrift store and come out empty-handed?
So I'd say 3 or 4 out of 10 times.
Okay, so you got like a 60% success rate.
But also, you have to factor in like how many times do I walk in a thrift store and walk out with one thing.
Right.
Probably another 2 or 3 times.
Right.
Like, and that's the other thing too is like when I first started, like I would come home from the thrift store and I'd be like, "Hey, Ma, can you like hold the door for me?"
Oh yeah, all the junk.
I got like 12 bags of stuff.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, you know, like it's so difficult because like you see, sometimes you get bad information too. You know, like I remember I was like, man, these like glasses, like the like bar glasses, like not like cool mid-century modern bar glasses, but like the like, you know, character glasses, and just like, you know, and I'm just like, oh man, these things are hot, like, and I've sat on them for
I think everybody's done that, and thank you, Danny, for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Danny May has been like she's been watching my YouTube channel for a long time, like when nobody else was. I mean, still nobody's really watching, but like
everywhere. She's like, she sleeps less than I do, I think.
She's super amazing. So,
but you like because we're so close, all my apps pick up the DC, Northern Virginia, East Northern Virginia area. I see all your estate sales in my graph, and you literally have 100 a day, like at least 100 a day. It's just insane.
That's crazy.
So what I'm thinking is, once you start, the hardest thing, you already have the knowledge, so you just have to figure out which ones know the game and which ones don't.
Yeah.
And so I have these two ladies. They run estate sales, and like I went, and then like eventually they saw me there all the time, and now like they know me by first name. Mm-hmm. So it's like I've kind of worked and that's the other thing too. Is just like you have to work relationships with people, and like for me, the other thing too is it's like I think people are super like undervaluing like manners. For example, like my mom taught me. What's that?
Planters, you said?
No, manners.
Oh, manners. I'm like, what?
Manners. So like my mom taught me, like I say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir to everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter how old, how young you are, who you are.
Make me big, Tracy. And look at this. This is his estate sales over the next 7 days.
Oh, wow. Jeez. So they don't just do it on the weekends?
No.
Some start on Wednesdays and some start on Thursdays.
I'm taking a road trip. I got it.
That is like insanity right there. Like it's just and that's just because of the amount of people as well. There's you have 50 million people, more going to die every day, right?
Yeah.
So that is like, have you really not tapped into the estate sale market too much yet?
No, I go to a lot of estate sales, but like sometimes the time. So like before when I was working at the restaurant, it was like you only get certain amount of time like that I can go. So it was like and the other thing too is like I was so judgmental on the pictures. Excuse me, in the beginning, where I was just like, oh, there's no Pyrex there. There's no.
They only pitch what they know, dude. That's it.
Exactly. And so like that's what I started learning. And then now that like I've learned about other things too, I'm just like, yo, I kick myself now thinking about all the things that I have passed up that I didn't think about selling because I was so focused on just selling on Etsy. So like I'm just thinking about like all the like I mean I would always buy something if it was cool, like clothes wise, right? But like I mean like I've probably passed up on so much.
Just think, if you look at the pictures, think about the pictures, because I look at your area just as well as mine. They never picture electronics.
Nope.
And they never picture clothing.
Nope.
Right.
So I'd hate to say it, but people probably don't go there thinking there's none there.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how much money can be had on vintage electronics and vintage clothing. So even if you go there for the glass and someone beats you to it, you still got a whole nother market or two.
And that's the thing. Is like now it's like before when I walked in a thrift store, all I was looking for was like I was in there for like 5 minutes, Now I go into a thrift store and I'm in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Because like I look at electronics, I look at clothes, I look in the kids section, the toys, I look in glass, I look in China, anything in a box, like like it's crazy. So I mean, like for example, sometimes like there's stuff that's like crazy high priced in thrift stores, and I was talking to I sent a message to Profit Monsters earlier today because he was at a thrift store and there was a champion Chicago Bulls jersey and they were selling it for like $120 at the thrift store or something like that. And it's just like, but sometimes you have to go into they have like the little glass display cases. Like I always take a trip around there just in case. So one day, this bad boy.
Oh my God. Beautiful.
Whoa.
So this is Wedgwood Jasperware, right? And this is like an urn vase. I saw this and I nearly lost my shit.
That was
like, there's no way that thing is like legit. So I just stopped my tracks and I was like, hey, I need you to pull that out of the case for me real quick, please. And so I pull it out and I'm like inspecting it. And it has a little chip in the middle section, but like, nothing that, I'd take a couple $100 off because of that.
Those aren't marked, are they?
No, they're marked.
They are. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that worth? Like if that didn't have a chip, what would it be worth?
I mean, so you in that color, I have it up right now for like $700. But yeah, I paid it was 35 and then I had it was 25% off. Yeah, so and I mean like I have that's one of those items I have on Etsy and eBay. So I have right now on eBay it has like 10 watches or something like that. So like it's just, and you just got to keep going. You got to keep going at it and keep trying to learn because like I said, I'm just scratching the surface now. Like,
well, since I've met you, Tim, I stopped looking at glass most of the time unless it was uranium because that's something and a few other things, but I just stopped looking because I didn't know. And now the other day, the first place I went in a thrift shop was the glass. I'm like, I'm going to find something that now that I'm starting to want to learn more and you've taught me a few things and that I can send you a picture of just in case I'm wrong.
And this is the thing too, is I think a lot of people stopped looking at glass because a lot of people were told that the glass is dead and like it has no value anymore. And I'm just like, well, I'm on Etsy right now and I've sold over 1,800 pieces of, glass.
That's insane because like Etsy's not known for volume selling, and you've like done, how long have you been on there for?
I mean, so like we started for like 6 months, just like posting like maybe like 5 things, like every 2 weeks, like just stuff from my mom's basement. So it's probably been a good full 2 years now of me on Etsy.
So like hardcore, what, maybe a year and a half?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like almost full-time eBay volume. Like most, I'd say an average like full-timer that's like listing sells around like 2,000 to 3,000 items a year. And you're doing like, that's pretty damn good for Etsy because people always talk about Etsy being slower because you're in a different market. You're in like a different market. That's mind-blowing to me. 1,800 items. God.
And then it's like, so and eBay for me is like, I don't know how to like necessarily compare it to everything, but like, so I've probably been going hardcore on eBay for maybe 3-4 months now. Like not even hardcore, but like, actually actively listing. I've sold 126 things so far.
What is the proportion? Like mostly glass or more clothing?
I mean, I just started with the clothing. It was just like, all like random stuff, remote controls. I was selling remote controls, like I remember the first time I was just like, I was at a thrift store and I was just like, I was looking at the remotes and I was just like, man, there's a model number on here. Let me just look this up. And I looked it up and I was like, $15 I paid for this on eBay. And it's $1. I'm like, all right. So then I just went on this little remote control kick and I just started looking up remote controls all over the place.
If you can master Etsy, eBay's like kindergarten. I mean, you can look at eBay and within reason know exactly when something's going to sell. It's going to, I'm going to buy this, it's going to be 6 months by, looking at the sell-through rate. I don't think Etsy gives you that knowledge, really, do they? They don't give you that data of how many items or percentage of items sell
on Etsy.
Yeah.
No, I
right. You don't know. So you're basically going on your own knowledge.
Well, that's why a lot of people on Etsy get Worth Point. I think it's a necessity for what you're selling.
Yeah, you could always look up what other people are selling stuff for, but like it. And that's the other thing that is crazy to me is like in dealing with the vintage and antique stuff specifically, it's like the range in which people sell things are insane. Like, I mean, I see people sell stuff on Etsy as like green glass and they have no idea that it's uranium glass. Like if you had uranium glass and you knew you had uranium glass, why would you not market it as uranium glass?
Right.
That's the other thing too, is it's like,
And why wouldn't your first photo be of it glowing? Like,
Mhm.
I've got a few pieces of uranium, and I switched the pictures up the other day because it wasn't selling because my glowy pictures aren't as good as yours. And now I know I need 2 people, so I will do that. But I switched it up, but I still haven't marked. Like, you have to market it as what it is, or it's not going to go for the money.
And then it's just like there's so many things that go into everything. You really just have to continue to like grow. Like you can't just sit in front of the computer and list and that's it. Like it's just like you really have to try because there's so many of us out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's so many people helping. Like, just take the help, take the knowledge.
Right.
Like, I would have never gotten into this other things if I didn't watch YouTube.
Right.
Like,
And it's like Tracy, like she's like mesmerized by you, so she misses half the chat. But there's a lot of knowledge dropped.
No, there's a shit ton of chat
so
going.
much knowledge like being dropped. If anyone even pays attention in the chat, what people are just dropping that they sell and find, and that's what's so awesome about these chats because it just makes people talk about what they like to sell, or bring out. And like Callie Picker's talking about AC adapters.
Right.
That's something you find tubs of in boxes and like laptop chargers.
I didn't think you wanted to go on another cord binge.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But it's just looking through the chats is going and just looking at the knowledge is being dropped. It's like,
but Big Texas Picker, like snow globes, you can find snow globes worth hundreds of dollars. Have you found any, or are you into stuff like that?
So I haven't gone into like snow globes because snow globes, you have your like Hallmark style snow globes, and then you have like high end, like I don't want to say department store, but like those like real fancy stuff. Paperweights is one thing that we're trying to figure out now.
God, I wish I could remember the name. I had a paperweight that they have. They made the paperweights in the Oval Office, and I had one, and I sold it for like $350, I think. It was just a little paperweight that looked like the earth, and it was signed, so therefore I knew it was something because it was engraved. But God, paperweights, even the unsigned and even basic, you can sell them if they have a theme that is collectible.
Yeah, and I mean, for example, like Pyrex, people who grew up with like Pyrex in their kitchen, they can't wrap their heads around the fact that Pyrex is what it is. Like, to me, like, so that's like kind of like what gave me, that was one of the bigger stepping stones in my time so far as a reseller, was learning Pyrex. So like, at first I was just like, all right, I read this article like Pyrex is popular, right? So I go out and I'm like, anything that's Pyrex, I'm buying, like, so I'm buying all this Pyrex, and then like I come home and I'm like, oh, this is supposed to not look like this. This is just destroyed. Like, so
everyone
then like
does it, man. Everyone when they start,
you have to learn. So then I learned, okay, there's the dishwasher damage. That's when like people put Pyrex in the dishwasher and it destroys the paint and the color or even the texture of them. And then I was like, okay. So then I just dove into Pyrex research. So I learned all the patterns. I learned what the numbers on the bottom of the bowls meant. I learned the sizes, the names of the actual type of bowls. So you have your round mixing bowls, you have your Cinderella round mixing bowls, you have your casserole dishes, and you have your refrigerator dishes.
And divided casserole.
Yeah.
Like
divided overall oval casseroles and all that stuff. And so I really took it serious, and I was like, I remember just going on this like run, and I was selling these Pyrex, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And like they make Pyrex in other countries too. There's a UK has their own Pyrex that they make over there that wasn't made in America, and Australia too. So like you can, and the thing is about, you have to remember, like, people collect things that are easily collectible. So like with Pyrex, there's a set. So it's like, okay, your mind state of a collector is, all right, I got to get every piece in this set. I got to get every piece in this pattern, So it's like, and there's not a million of them in each pattern and each like set. So it's easy for you to to go out and try and find those pieces.
Yeah, and even the more like recent, like the visions, like he was someone was talking about in the chat, the vision Pyrex. People love that, and it's just basic and clear purplish hue. And what was the other one in here? Oh, and they make Coleman lantern gloves. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's saying.
Yeah.
They also do like laboratory stuff. So like test tubes and things like that.
Look at that one though, Halloween Pyrex. So, that's like really, besides the heart, for the one you talk about, the lucky
and love. Yeah.
Wouldn't you say that's the second?
That's pretty much okay. So I don't know a lot about any other categories than the ones I know, but whenever we have someone on or Tracy has someone on, it seems like anything Halloween in that category is always amazing. Like it doesn't matter what the category is, right?
Yeah.
It
doesn't. I just sold
right done. I mean, this should be Chinese junk, and look what he goes for.
2 weeks ago, I sold a damaged without the box Department 56 Halloween piece for $70. Damaged, and they always want the box, and I sold it off season. So I mean, you have to always look at the Halloween stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like even like blow molds. Look at Halloween blow molds. I mean, that's a gold mine. And how many did you punt across your front yard as a kid? Like, I mean, literally, like we would run through neighbors' yards and just boot them. And we probably there's thousands of dollars smashed of them like laying around. It blows my mind every time someone says Halloween. I'm just like, another one. It's just, I think you can blanket any category with Halloween.
I think a lot of clothing, even it's incredible.
Yeah, DBG, anything death, like it's like. Did you see her comment like an hour ago?
No,
her thing, like she was comparing these two weapons, like that she could throw at her husband. The plate that Tim had with the crack in it, like the chip in it. Yeah, like something I could throw at my husband.
You know what's? But they can break that up and use it for mosaic. Also,
yeah.
So I have a friend that does that. So whenever I have like I come across like damaged stuff and things that break or things that just like are just too damaged beyond like selling point, I start a box, and then once the box gets full, I give it to her, and she makes these really cool like mosaic pieces with them.
Wow.
Because everybody does that with cheap tiles, anyone can do that. But when you're doing it with something collectible,
and that's the thing that's cool too. Is like I give her like a backstory so that it makes it easier for her to sell and has more of a market.
Oh, and did he say how much he sold? How much did you sell the Bill Clinton shirt for, and where did you sell it, and did you blacklight it?
I did not blacklight it, but I got it for $2 and I sold it on Grailed for 40.
Wow. And on eBay it probably just sat there with looks and looks.
Yeah So it's interesting because so presidential stuff is crazy too. So remember the Hall teapot? So there's a caricature teapots they made. One of Ronald Reagan and one of Margaret Thatcher. And I found the Ronald Reagan one in a thrift store, and like super difficult to find without being broken. And I sold that for I got a good $100 for that, right? And I got a good $100 for that.
Wow.
Okay, then even the double boilers at Christmas time, I sold a Pyrex double boiler. You know what I'm talking about? It's the pot. With the pot on top of the pot that you melt chocolate and make candy in. And man, you will make people happy if you buy those and sell them at Christmas time or holidays, especially because they don't want to use the new stuff. They like to keep all of their things Pyrex or old, in their kitchens when they collect like that. Is Ma Dukes in here?
But no, but my boy Authentic, he said, Steve said he could hear you. He said to say what's up.
Oh.
Yeah, my Dukes held it down for everybody in the neighborhood when we were growing up.
Really?
She was at Kool-Aid house.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Wait, Kool-Aid or
we haven't been answering any other questions. Is there more questions that we can answer?
They're all over the place.
I digress a lot.
It's so, I mean, because it's so hard. There's so much knowledge that you have, and it's like, how can you follow it? And I know this is like the epitome of a show. It's going to suck because it's live and it won't get the replays needed. But like, there's so much knowledge in here that it should be replayed and replayed and replayed and used like for the knowledge. And it's terrible that YouTube just doesn't push the lives.
That's okay though, because he's got a channel that he's doing all of this on. And I mean, I can't believe your subs aren't larger right now because you've done enough videos. People just have to find you now. Everybody wants this knowledge. I'm sure to have a little bit of this knowledge we all walk by glass.
These two
all the time, right?
Yeah. I'll be the first to tell you. I mean, I walk by. He can tell you how much was at my auction. It's there every week, all the time. I've never once looked at it, and it just blows my mind. There's hundreds and hundreds of pieces there, and I don't know, because what 80% of it's not worth buying.
Right.
So if you don't know that 20%, it's so much. Like it's so much. But I can walk up to a table with, vintage electronics or video games and know, boom, instantly what I'm going to buy. So that's the difference. The knowledge, the learning curve on glass, because how many pieces of glass are out there? Millions upon millions upon millions, right?
But if you could pick up a piece and see a signed piece that says Lily now, you'll go, okay, I'm just getting it. I don't even need to ask. It's Lily.
Right.
For me, like, I think that's another reason why uranium glass has become this, like, all this rage, because you don't necessarily have to, to get started in it. All you need is this, like, you go into a store and you flash that light on there, and then you found your first piece. I remember when I found my first piece of uranium glass, I thought I was about to be a millionaire. Because like I didn't even know it existed, right? And like my mom was telling me about it one day, and then so I got did the research, and I'm on Google, and I'm like, on Google, the first things that pop up, it just shows you like these like $1,000 pieces and stuff.
Right.
Like
Oh yeah. Always.
So I'm like, oh man, I get the little keychain blacklight, and I found a cup and saucer in one of the grab bags at the the thrift store, and I bring it home, and I'm like, turn off all the lights, and I'm just like looking at it glow, and I'm like, I looked it up, and I think I sold it for like $20, but still, I paid $2.99 for it, so it's like
it's crazy because if I find the things that I'm most excited about bringing home are the ones that I make the least amount on.
Why is that?
I'm so wrong about because it's always something that I'm like the same, like you said, you just throw it a quick glance at something because you're on a time limit. You can't have time to spend 20 minutes researching every item. No. You throw something into eBay or Google or whatever, and it throws the first 20 results are always the highest items because that's where the money is being made on those because you buy the ads, right? So the ads, if they're buying the ads, it's going to go to the highest dollar first because Google's going to get more money on that.
Well, Tim, do you ever do what Tommy does and say, well, if it doesn't sell, I'll just keep it?
No, because like, look, this is the thing is like, I bounce around from so many different places.
Yeah.
So like I have, where I live in DC, like we have a house, but it's like, I have my room there, and it's just there's nowhere for me to do like store anything or anything like that. And like I'm always on the go, so it's like for me it's easy right now because I don't have anywhere to put it. So I'm just like, but trust me, I got a little pile of like the stuff I keep is like I keep a couple little knickknacks and stuff like really interesting stuff, and then like some artwork. Like I'm like one of those. So like artwork's gonna be one of my things in the next year that I'm gonna really try hard to learn. But yeah, I keep some artwork. I keep some cool clothes for myself, and I give my mom a couple pieces of Flow Blue. Yeah, she has a really dope display cabinet of Flow Blue, and then copper lusterware.
Nice
teapots.
And it's still every time I watch him talk, it blows my mind because he looks nothing like someone that collects glass, in my opinion.
Yeah. First of all, how old are you?
So I just turned 36 on the 7th.
That's crazy right there, right?
Yeah. Do you watch the Crazy Lamp Lady? Somebody asked like an hour.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
So she has a lot of knowledge, evidently.
Well, okay. She has a great show.
Look, I let me tell you, like I'm totally a fan of hers because I find because sometimes people, especially dealing with this type of stuff, can be super snobby, stuck up, especially towards people like me, because you know, people are judgmental. But like she comes across super nice, right? And I definitely learned things from her. But you know, she knows, like, that's the thing, is like, it's crazy. Like, she knows a lot about things that I don't know about.
Right.
And that's why I love watching her. And it's just like, you know,
it's her personality, really.
Yeah, but there's things that she just, you know, like, she knows a little bit about some things, but not like a lot lot those
but
things.
she also she goes with what she likes.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's difficult though, because you'll get in trouble shopping for what you like.
Oh, I can attest to that.
She doesn't seem to mind, because she'll pick up very low value items, but her viewers purchase so much from her.
Like, dude, I haven't looked in probably 8 months at her channel, but when I looked at it, it was monstrous.
It's huge. It's huge
for reselling. I don't know what it is.
And two channels,
right?
And her people follow her store and buy her stuff from her.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I think because I haven't watched in a while, because I've been, you know, going back and forth. But I think that they might have just bought a property actually. And
I bet she makes a living off of her viewer sales. I would be willing to bet she makes a full-time living off her viewer sales.
Not, you want to know the other lady that she goes with, Crazy Sue? She has her channel Sue Me or something like that. She is amazing. She knows a lot.
Knowledge.
She gives you a lot of like tips that are like super useful. But
so
like,
she has more knowledge than the Crazy Lamp Lady.
No, that's the thing, is like, I don't think you can measure.
They're just different.
Because there's so many different levels to it. Like the Crazy Lamp Lady, like she knows what she's getting, right?
Right.
But like, there's some things that I see her get that I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, why would you get that Nippon? Like Nippon, I've been sitting on Nippon for like,
because she's got viewers that are going to buy it the minute she gets it home.
Exactly. So she knows what she's doing. But then, like, I'm like watching them at the flea market, and I'm like, no, you just passed that. Go back. But like, you know, like, I'm sure people say that about me too. So it's like, I totally enjoy her channel. Like,
I don't think anyone can not miss stuff. Like Nick Hills, he's been doing it for years, and he always talks about stuff that subscribers will let you know quick when you miss stuff, when you're doing like at the boot sales that they go to, or here the garage sales. Subscribers they're not going to hesitate to tell you miss stuff. You'll learn.
Shout out to Nick though, because he's the first dude I saw on YouTube teach me how to test a remote control.
He taught me how to Dougie.
Like, literally, like, I saw that video, Nick, and I was like, man, I've been putting
he just did one recently, just like today or yesterday. Put that in your phone, put it up to your phone.
I saw him do it a couple, maybe about like I don't know, a little less than a month ago, and I saw that, and I was like, man, I've been listing all these remote controls as untested.
It's so easy. There's a few that don't show up, but I can't remember, and he's talking about that before. And I see the Crazy Cards in here. I don't know if you follow him, but
he's amazing too.
He's near you, and he's not far from you. He finds craziness at his auctions, but he just said his auction is shutting down.
Oh no!
Yeah, so he's gonna have to drive out into your area and steal all your goods now.
Yeah, watch out! You better get out there. Do you go to the Fenton convention? Buying Space wants to know.
So, like, when you say the Fenton convention, do you mean like people that meet up who are Fenton collectors, or do you mean like the old Fenton conventions when they were still a company? I mean, like, Ma, you went and visited Fenton, right? My mom went to the factory before they closed down.
Oh, that's
like, yeah. That was one of the things that I remember growing up from the most. But like, Fenton is, I mean, like, there's hardcore Fenton collectors out there. Like,
we saw them when we were at the, I guess I was at the V at the Longaberger.
So my mom used to sell Longaberger baskets back in the day.
Did she go to the Longaberger factory before they didn't pay their taxes?
somebody messaged me on Instagram like about Longaberger, and like I sent the picture to my mom, and she just messaged me right back with what basket it was, what the pattern was, everything. So like, that's another thing. Like, Longaberger is like,
they're crashing, but
they're gonna bounce back now. They're gonna bounce back.
Yeah. Can you believe they had that bad? They couldn't pay their taxes, like for their town taxes or something. All the money they were making mints,
Did you
man.
see the stupid building that their office was? I mean, it
What,
looked
the
like
basket, the actual basket? Yeah. I mean, now it's sitting here like a ghost. It's like wouldn't you want to buy that and just move into the Longaberger basket?
I would totally. That'd be a great warehouse.
But
thing.
they're turning it into a hotel.
Or that's epic. Like there's,
Yeah.
I can't believe that
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. But Wendy said something. Definitely. I'm seeing that, Wendy. Like this is like a massive category, and that's what blows my mind because there's just so much. It's like video games. Look, they're so easy compared to this. Like there's like 10 different consoles ever made, or 20, I don't know, whatever. How hard is it? And if you haven't heard of the game, it's probably worth something. That's what you do. It's like
Think about the massive amounts of glass that go through the thrift shops and through the flea markets and everything. Where does it end up if it doesn't get purchased? You know, something good gets taught.
it depends, right?
It's so difficult to find the stuff at the thrift stores in perfect condition. Like it's just like we all know, we've all been in the thrift stores. You know how this stuff gets handled there. Like I'm shocked when I find stuff and it's in great condition. I see somebody put about carnival glass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, so the convention goes on. I've never been to the convention, but
Oh,
those two together, carnival glass. I mean, Fenton made some really nice carnival glass,
Right.
and I think carnival glass is another one of those, like uranium glass and Vaseline glass, that is, picking up steam, and like it's super popular. Like this is the thing, you have to like everything that I buy, no matter what it is, whether it's vintage, antiques, glass, china, new stuff, new old stuff. Like I really look for things that when I'm going to be selling them are able to reach different demographics, right? So like the double things, like uranium glass is going to be collected, like say it's a piece of Northwood glass, right? And it's uranium. You're going to have Northwood collectors. You're going to appeal to new uranium glass and Vaseline glass collectors. Then you're going to appeal to like just the green or the yellow glass collectors. So like there's so many different things. And then like if you buy, you know, a sweater, right? Old school vintage sweater that's like Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati Bearcats. So you're going to appeal to people that went to Cincinnati. You're going to appeal to people that live in Cincinnati. You're going to appeal to the person that just thinks it looks cool and it's old.
And then the people that just want vintage, the streetwear people.
Exactly. So it's like I always try and keep that in mind. Like when I pick something up, I'm like, so how many people can I reach with this?
How
and
many
then it's
demographics?
Exactly. Like it's
that all comes down to how good you are at painting the picture of the item too. Because I can buy it and not have a clue how to describe it the way that you do, and you'll get, 10 times as much as I will. Right. We see that all the time. We see that with just pictures, like Andy, Paired Head Picker. When I started, he was the end all be all of picture taking. Yeah. Now he's made people bring their game way up the ladder, but he would get on average like $20 a shirt more than me or anyone else just because of his pictures. He spent like an extra 2 minutes using a fancy app that he paid for. Back then it was unheard of. And making collages out of his pictures to show if there was a design on the front and back. So same can be said with anything, but going to the wife, she's talking about Longaberger baskets. We've got like 16 of the cancer baskets or something.
I think you sent me a picture of a table full of them.
And we can't sell them to save our lives.
Shove them somewhere for now.
Yeah, you think they're going to come back for real?
Yeah, I do. Eventually.
Why is that?
Because if depression glass can come back, then
they went out of business, and like the thing is the quality of the basket is unmatched.
Right.
Like
especially if you have the inserts like that.
Yeah, we got the inserts. She's got everything. She's got the tie-ons, the lids, the whole nine. Every cancer basket and the Hope basket since she's been born. So they went out of business.
Dwayne's asking about a good book or website for glass hallmarks. I mean, this is the thing: there's not a lot of there. First of all, there's not a lot of glass hallmarks themselves. It's not like china or silver. But I mean, I use WorthPoint, obviously. But if you don't want to have to pay for something, you can literally Google glass hallmarks, and if you go into the image section, there'll be these like charts, and they'll show you. And then like with books, I like a lot of my books I found at like auctions or yard sales, you know, like because the old books are like where you really get the knowledge from, because the internet is like telephone game. One person will post something and call it that, and then the next person sees that and then they'll call it that, and then 20 people later they realize that all of them were wrong and it's not what they said it was. So it's like you really, with the glass stuff, it's like some of them, the makers worked for the same companies. So like the guy who worked at Northwood eventually went to Fenton. And so like he took some of the molds with him from Northwood glass to Fenton
So
glass.
not only do you have this mold, but you also have now you have designers or whatever you want to call them that people might follow. Like let's go back to the Mambo shirts, like the certain designer or pattern or whatever they were saying that shirt that Robin sold was like ridiculous.
Specific artist
Because of the artist, like, you know, or the okay, so I sold a hammered, like, what was it? Got it for $7, and I just knew it was old. I didn't know what it was, but it was a water pitcher and it was hammered and it was like, I guess it was copper. But I remembered my mom telling me when I was little about, I don't know how you say it. I always say it's like Texaco or something. Texaco.
Oh, Tasco.
Okay. Tasco. So, but it was copper, so I never heard of it. But anyway, for $7 I bid on it. I won it. It took a long time to research it, but I found it on WorthPoint eventually, and I sold it for $777 because of it wasn't anything to do with the Tasco. It was because of the guy, Hector Aguilar. Yeah. Hector Aguilar, his initials, he signed it. He was the one that hammered it. And I guess I went to a hotel in Miami, Florida. And like I messaged the guy, I'm like, because I thought it was a scam. I was like, who's gonna pay this crap, right? I was like, it's a scam. And so and then lo and behold, I got a chargeback on PayPal. I was like, what? So I messaged this guy. I'm like, yo, what's the deal? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm out of the country. He's like, I'm on vacation. And then he got back like 4 days later and he said, it's all fixed. I fixed it. It's in my showcase now. Thank you. It's beautiful. And it was like so weird how it went down, but it ended up all turning around, and I don't know if his people might've done something. He seemed like he was out of the country, like, you know, buying more art. His people might've did something, but he fixed it and it was amazing. Like so that just shows like not everything Tasco, as you've seen, is
no, not everything's good. But if you have the numbers on that Tasco piece, and you can find the artist that way too, sometimes that helps. But
sometimes like villages and like crazy stuff.
And,
like
and copper is super hot right now.
Yeah,
really.
And
I saw a lot of copper
and brass, big time.
Copper and brass. And like we have my uncle used to own a furniture shop down in North Carolina, so they used to sell Baldwin brass. So my mom collected it, so we had a bunch of Baldwin brass, and like, you know, when it was made here in the US, and I've sold every piece of Baldwin brass I've ever had. Yeah. Now I see this milk glass question.
Yeah, please.
Let's dive into the world of milk glass.
Okay, can I say something before you? Because I want you to just go. But like, if you can get it super, super cheap for a huge bulk, put it on Facebook and sell it as wedding decoration. Okay, because they do buy it in bulk for stuff like that. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I mean that was definitely one of the things I was going to say. So like, there's so many levels to milk glass, right? You'll go into the thrift store, and I guarantee you, everybody in this chat right now has walked into the thrift store and has seen 15 milk glass
things
right next to each other on the shelf, and like those things are just like, they're not very valuable. So like, there's almost every glass company made a version of milk glass. Fenton has milk glass. Westmoreland is another big milk glass company. Hazel Atlas made milk glass. Anchor Hawking made milk glass. Now, Anchor Hawking and Hazel Atlas and Westmoreland glass, those will all have hallmarks, majority of them. Imperial Glass too made a little bit of milk glass. Now, there are some pieces that are super valuable. You just have to know what they are, because you'll go down a rabbit hole when it comes to milk glass. But there are people who are milk glass fanatics.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go grab a piece of milk glass.
Now we're getting one-on-one education. This costs money.
And then the hobnail milk glass is like, that's one of those double demographic finds right there. So like there's some people that love hobnail, and there's people that love milk glass. So like those can be somewhat sought after, but like it goes back to like I was talking about the depression glass stuff. Like if you really look into it, like there might be a milk glass butter dish hobnail that's like super, like I might be able to get like $50 for it. But like milk glass sells for dirt cheap. If you can find it at a good price, I would totally buy it. And like Tracy was saying, they love to use that stuff as wedding decorations.
Really?
Yeah. And what I do sometimes too is sometimes I rent my pieces.
Yeah, Mike the Crazy Card, exactly. The silver company. Like I had a necklace that was like 37 grams, a choker necklace. It was ugly as all get out, but it was pure silver. And I messaged Tracy like, I need help. I cannot sell this thing. Like I just cannot.
But with Costco, if you don't know, you need to price it high just in case somebody else knows. It was so ugly that it was like Superwoman kind of lightning bolt. That one.
Yeah. It was like, and that probably would have.
Kent. I'm sorry, I totally missed that.
And I'm a little upset with Kent because I've never seen that tight bastard ever get more than $1 ever. He'll give you $5. Like,
I thank you, Kent. he's okay. So with milk glass, I don't know.
If you knew the work that took, man, I wish we could. I wish we could break them down into knowledge clips. Like it would be so nice.
Well, we'll just have to do more. Okay, so first of all, I always look at things with pedestals just because I like them. This is a personal piece. It was my grandmother's. I'll save it forever because she used it. But let me make myself bigger. Hold on.
I love the edge already.
Okay. So I know nothing. I don't know who made. I've never even looked it up just because it's mine, right? I don't.
It's marked on the bottom, right?
I don't know. Nah.
You sure? You might not be able to see it.
I'll look though.
Yeah, but
sure.
it sure looks like it could possibly be Westmoreland.
Westmoreland. Okay.
Yeah,
like
Westmoreland used to do a lot of those lattice edges.
Okay. So that'd be a great lesson. How would you describe this for a title? Like, what would you title this?
I would say it was a lattice. Well, first of all, say it is Westmoreland. I would put vintage Westmoreland milk glass lattice edge pedestal center console bowl.
Console bowl. Okay.
Because to me, that's something that you would put in the center of a dining room table and maybe put fruits in or something.
That's where it is actually. So cool. But pieces like that I look at because that's special. Anything with pedestal, I think that is something people search a lot. Do you agree with that mostly?
What's that? Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, Tax Shack, Tom. I'm sorry.
Banana trays are going to be more of a they're going to come up like this. That's a banana tray.
So let's say, like for me, like a rookie, I don't know nothing about that. If I saw anything that resembled what she had in her hand, just like that, would you pick it up for $2-3 in the store?
That piece, yes.
Like
just because you have to think like this. Remember, I was telling you about how like if things are easily breakable. They're more valuable. Right. So like you see that piece, right?
Not gonna make too many moves if you move houses. Like you're not going to get successfully.
Exactly. Like there's probably a million. Well, obviously, I'm exaggerating. There's probably tons of those out there that are completely broken.
There you go. The crazy card dropping in.
It is Westmoreland.
Got to get together. That's like a dream of mine, right there.
What, Mike and Tim?
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Knowledge. Mike has like just amazing knowledge. It always blows my mind.
Yeah. Incredible.
Do we have another question? I like these questions.
Hi, Derek. So what would you, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what would you say a value of this bowl would, like in a general range? It's probably not a ton, I'm guessing, but.
Well, yeah, because that's an intriguing piece though. Westmoreland, like I have 2-3 Westmoreland books back there. So like for me, like if I did that, I would just pull that book out and I look at that. But obviously these books are super old, so the pricing on it has changed. So then like I would use that as a starting point, and then I would obviously go to Worth Point and I like when it comes to antiques and collectibles, it's weird because with eBay, it's like I don't know, like checking the sold comps never works because
Right.
they don't sell as frequently as like other items that I may sell.
There you go. You can buy yourself one for $18, everyone. Okay. Head on over to eBay.
Hey, look, I bet you could sell that on Etsy for like $60.
Right. That's what I'm finding, that I put several pieces of glass on eBay last week and I go, why am I even bothering doing this? I shouldn't. I need to open that Etsy store.
What about the what's the deal with the big carnival glass plate?
I put it on eBay.
I know you told me that, but didn't you say you had some watchers immediately?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it in a couple days, but it got a watcher immediately, and I'd found the maker and the design and everything on Etsy. Of course, there was one listed on Etsy for 120-ish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I can't remember what it's called because I can't retain you're giving me so much information. I can't retain it all. I literally went back and rewatched that while you were telling me what all this stuff was. I had to rewatch that like twice.
It's interesting because like for me, it's like, when you get a piece, you spend an hour, 2 hours looking at it, and you just it's like you get that muscle memory with your brain muscle.
Yeah.
And then you take the pictures of it, and then you list it, and then you share it on Instagram. So it's like all from the point when you first grabbed it all the way to the point when it's listed and you finally shared it on social
and sell
media.
it. You think of it then too. So that's how it'll just reach.
Yeah. So like it just kind of like sticks with you because like, so there's certain pieces that I see now and I'm just like, do.
Right.
I know. And then there's certain pieces that I see and I'm like, man, that looks awesome. But I know nothing about it. It's coming home with me because like it's a learning experience.
Right.
Now
Nick wants to know what you love to source. We kind of went through that before, so
yeah,
I'm going to make Nick go back and rewatch.
Briefly, I like the Pyrex, and then uranium and Vaseline glass, carnival glass, mid-century modern, Art Deco, and then like vintage.
What about Art Nouveau? What's the difference?
Art Nouveau too, yeah, for sure. Like I have a couple of Art Nouveau Dutch bronze pieces. I have a couple of.
Hey, Ma Dukes. I saw her.
Oh yeah, she's like pointing at things for me to look. So right now too,
yeah,
I'm into restaurant china.
Oh, nice.
Also railroad china. If you can find railroad china, buy it up. Railroad china is crazy valuable.
How do you know? How do you know it's that?
It'll say like, so you'll either have it on like railroad china is very similar to restaurant china. So like you'll see they'll sometimes like right here they'll have like the railroad or a company like emblem there, and then on the back sometimes it'll say the railroad and along with the China company. So like yeah, that's super popular right now. But yeah, anything mid-century modern, Art Deco, and then clothing, vintage electronics, anything in the package, and then all the metals. So like bronze, brass, copper, any of that stuff. I mean, like I said, like I have so much random stuff here right now. It's insane.
Okay,
but
we got questions coming in again, Tim.
How to pack.
How long? How long would you spend on, say, a bowl like I just showed? How long would that take you to pack?
That bowl right there would probably take me. So the hardest part is actually finding the box. So like just stay tuned to the YouTube channel because we are going to be dropping a video tomorrow on how we go through the packing. But like probably like 10-15 minutes to pack that bowl because you have to get all the edges. You have to make sure that the bubble there's no gaps where the edges are. You have to, and what we do is we wrap one layer of paper, then we wrap one layer of small bubble, then we do one layer of big bubble. Mm-hmm. Then you have to make sure you find a box that's, big enough. Then you have to, fill the box with the edges so that there's nothing actually touching the edge of the box. Even though it's in all those layers of bubble wrap, we still make sure that there's nothing touching the box. So this is also,
when you drop a shipping video, you're going to be ridiculed by someone at some point.
Oh, for sure. But you know me, man. Like I'm a thick skin type of guy.
Yeah,
I've been through the ringery.
yeah. Don't worry about it. As long as you know, it's.
So this is the big bubble that we use.
Mhm.
Oh, you got the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, this costs, but like it's totally worth it because we've probably shipped close to 2,000 items. Of the 2,000 items, we've only had 2 or 3 broken items, and that was when we were using the old post office when we first started, and it was like difficult. I had just learned, and we were using like the airbag things like to cushion it, and
Yeah.
don't ever use those ever. They're horrible. Those are only for like emergency, like extra. Oh yeah, see, Buffalo China. That's what those plates are, Sanak.
Nice.
But yeah. So I'd say sometimes some pieces will take 5 to 10 minutes. Sometimes it'll be 15 to 20 minutes. And then like you have if there's something that has a lid, like so now you have to wrap the bottom piece separate than the lid piece. So you have to do each piece, separately. My mom says glasses. She hates glasses.
Oh, what? Because the shipping, or
like it's just they're a pain in the ass because you have to individually wrap each
they
one.
are. Well, okay, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Like I've sold like drinkware, and I split it up into smaller sets. Sometimes, not always. Like if I have 6, I might sell 2 and 4 or something like that. Because 6 is a lot to ship in a box.
Yeah.
Unless it's something very special like Lalique or something, that makes sense going through all the trouble. But to go to that amount of trouble for not that huge of a profit, I don't want to do it. But I have these that I was considering selling, and I have like 12 of them. And they're not going to show, are they? So, wrong one. What do you call something like that? A sherbet bowl, ice cream dish?
Well, I mean, it would either be a champagne or sometimes they'll call them champagne or
Really?
sherbet. So
Okay.
sherbets and champagnes get the double name a lot of times. But I mean, like that's an interesting piece. Like it looks like with the gold on there, it looks like it could be, something mid-century like Georges Briard or Culver, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But like there's some mid-century modern barware that is just I told you about the poison glass.
I think it's because Grandma put ice cream in it. I thought. Okay.
I told you about those.
Oh wow, Susie, thank you. You don't have to do that.
Whoa, hold on. What do we got? What? Hey,
to go back in it. Ha, Tommy, suck it. Thank you, Susie.
Jeez. It's not Thursday. The stacks come out on Thursday and Sunday, Susie. Calm down.
Oh, have a good day or night at work. So champagne also. That's just, you need all the keywords in a listing anyway. Cocaine holder. Okay, thanks, Ken. Gotcha.
That'd be a fun night in my younger days.
Oh my God, Josephine's trying to get this playing at the bar.
Where'd she go?
That's hilarious. Can you imagine people in a bar?
Oh my God, are you kidding? Drink one for me, Jesse.
Can you imagine people in the bar listening to this? I was like, what? She's gonna have like 90 new resellers in your area tomorrow. What?
This is the thing that's crazy. Is like, I'm in a very like, urban circle of people. So it's like, for me, people are super fascinated by what I do to a long, there's just like, at first they're just like, oh, you're throwing stuff on eBay. And then it's like, they actually see it. And it's just like, like I set up at this flea market on Sundays in Georgetown. And like, I have people that come, say what's up, who are like in the city. And it's like, I'm so ready for this weather to change. Because when I go to the flea markets and when I work on Sundays, I do like 600 to 800 every Sunday, and it's just like, it's crazy. Like there's so many things I have that I can't put online because they're like huge. Actually, I have these Coca-Cola crates. I think I'm just gonna go balls and try and ship them. But I sell soda crates every Sunday.
Really, Susie, you crack me up. Your humor is insane. I love it.
Where's Krillin? I thought I saw Krillin in here.
He's trying to sell some trains, I think, right now.
I know, right?
Krillin on trains. So you got Sternok and tanks, Krillin and trains.
Yeah, even someone like it's mind-boggling when you can baffle someone like Nikhil's been doing it for 20 years, you know, and he's like, he just lets the shit sit on the shelf because there's too much. I mean, it's so much knowledge. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like that box that I showed you the other night live, it was all mostly crap. But for me to research that would have taken hours, and like it took 10 minutes for him to tell me I'll throw most of it away. And I was like, great, awesome. I felt amazed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was telling Kent the other day in another chat that like I have the worst habit now of like whenever I am somewhere, I always flip things over to look at the hallmarks.
Yeah. So do you find that the silverware, like you were saying, the train dinnerware, what about silverware? Did they mark for trains or anything like that?
That's interesting. Maybe I don't know about specifically like utensils, but definitely like platters and bowls and stuff like that. Because I have I was telling Krillin the other night that I sold some, just like I like silver, obviously, like, but like I sold a silver plate scallop dish, actually very similar to this, okay. And it was, what is the name of the hotel? Walford Astoria?
Waldorf Astoria.
Waldorf Astoria. I don't know. My mom said everything. But yeah, I sold one of those for big money. But like, yeah, that's the thing, is like this, just the uniqueness. Like,
but it's marked though. Like
it is marked.
Okay.
But like, I got dumb lucky. I was into a yard sale over here in DC, and this woman had like 10 pieces of sterling silver marked. They were marked. And well, not all of them. Some of them said sterling. The other ones just had hallmarks. And she just gave them all to me for like $5 a piece. I made about $95 to $100 on each piece.
Wow. And
it was just like, but it took me a while to research it, and it took me a while to sell it too. But like, you know, it's the silver hallmarks, like English silver hallmarks. You gotta jump into that. Like there's so many.
Well, like I feel like the English markings, there's like 5 boxes of marks in a row, and you got to know what each box means. That's a lot of information.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've been meaning to ask like any the people that I watch the UK channels, because like I really enjoy this UK antique show. And I catch it. I used to watch it on YouTube all the time because
what's it called?
Antiques Road Trip.
Okay.
So it's so dope. This is what they do. So you get these two people who are both like antique dealers or auctioneers a lot of times, and they're like, you know, super popular in their realm and in their countries. And they start at one point in somewhere in the UK, and they have a drive like a classic, vicious old school car, like really crazy stuff. And so like they go on a road trip in this car, and they stop along the way. They stop at like antique places and like, you know, on their way to an auction. So they each start with $200, and they can spend that $200 to buy things to sell at the auction when the town that they get to the auction. So by the time they get to the auction, they each have like 5 to 7 pieces, and then they auction it off, and then they get the money back, right? So then it's like they do that for like 5 different auctions. Wow. And at the end of the trip, whoever has accumulated the most quid or pounds, and
look at you.
and then they win the competition, and then they donate all the money to a charity. But like I've seen some episodes where they found some things that are just like ended up going at auction for like thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's like they didn't even know it, you know. So it's like it just goes to show you that there's nothing that you should never like, just if something sparks your curiosity, just take a look at it, you know. do a quick little research, and then sometimes when you can't find anything in your initial research, that's when you like maybe even have something that is either nothing at all or something so big that it's not even like easily researched and it's that valuable.
Yeah.
So like for me, like I'm like a excited guy a lot, but like I get so stoked. Like I get
you're like Cernoch with a bad haircut, with a badass haircut.
when you go to like I go to
put a yarmulke on and real quick so we can see if you look like Cernoch.
Maybe you could climb into a big bowl and pose or something.
Yeah, right. But nobody's going to top Cernoch in the snowsuit, man.
No, you can't.
When he was
yes, he was doing the.
You put some goggles on with Cernoch.
I'm telling you, man. Like I learned a lot from him. I hit Cernoch up at least once a day.
Yeah, he's good. We make fun of him, but it's because it's just awesome. Like
we love
like Nick said earlier, anyone that's that passionate,
yeah, it's
just interesting. You make it interesting. Like if you weren't so passionate, this would probably bore me to tears. Like literally, like, would make me go to sleep.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing is like and I feel like it's my job too. It's like my responsibility to keep. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's almost like my responsibility to kind of keep the level of interest in glass and china and antiques going, because it's like I remember when I was a kid, like I was so blown. I'm like, I don't want to go to the auction, and then like you go to the auction and there's hundreds of people there. This is when like things were selling at like crazy top dollar, and it just like it kind of crashed. But now like with the internet, it's like the blessing and the curse, because like it really has given you the opportunity to sell these things to people all over the world, and like for me, one of the biggest joys is like when somebody messages me and they're like, my grandmother had this, like I remember seeing it every day as a kid. Like I've been looking for this for years. Like you have no idea how happy you just made me. And I'm just like, for me, I'm like, you don't know how happy you just made me. Like knowing that I was able to like bring somebody else joy by like finding a piece that like had been sitting around for so long, and it's just like they've been looking for it, and it's just like I just made their day. I'm like, yo, that's like amazing.
It's incredible. You inspired almost everyone, I think, except for maybe Dwayne. But no. So here's the deal. We're almost at 2 hours, and we have to kind of finish up because Tommy is going on to Back from Burnout's channel in like an hour, I think. And so I want him to have a chance to eat or whatever. But I would love to chat again, but let's answer a couple of these questions real quick, if you don't mind, and we can finish up. Are you good, Tommy? You're good?
I died. It's okay.
Okay.
Passion is key, Cernoch says. There you go.
Okay, so Corel, do you know where it comes from? Like seriously,
Corel, like Walmart shit. I know I can't say.
No, there's actually isn't some. No, that's Corningware. Some Corningware.
Oh.
Right, not Corel.
So all right, so
Corningware
was like it's like an umbrella with Corningware, Pyrex, and Corel, right? Now there was an article that was floating around the internet about like, oh, your Corningware is worth $10,000, right? And like people were like going crazy, completely bogus. So like Corningware, there's a very limited amount of collectors or people that are interested in it. So like I would stay away from it, except for, we talked about this, the little like the metal teapots with the plastic handles. Those are good.
Oh yeah, because the handles break all the time. That the electric ones are more valuable than the.
So those are the only things that I would deal with that.
Thank you, Krillin. I appreciate that.
Yo, hey Krillin, I'm right there with you, man. Like,
he wants to know what's the best.
I love when my pancake got the little crisp edge. Like you got a little extra butter in the pan.
Yeah, pan would be the best to make it that way. I think. What would you use? What would you recommend with your expertise to make Crisco edges on your pancake?
Cast iron.
Margarine.
Got a little extra margarine in the pot.
Use a cast iron skillet.
Yeah. Just don't scratch mom's skillet though. She don't get happy when that happens.
She says, now I lost the other question I wanted to ask you. Dang it.
Oh my god.
Dang it. Dang it. There was another one, but I don't see it. Thanks, Krillin.
Did we hit 100 in here today?
No.
We were close. I think you hit 90, right?
Did I? I saw 80 something. 88, I think, was the top. That's cool though. I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so you've got how many videos a week? Let's talk about your channel for a second.
All right, so
and don't forget to sub, please, guys. You won't regret it, obviously.
Now that I've gone full time, my goal is to try to do 2 to 3 videos a week.
Oh wow.
So like there's the typical videos, the what solds, the haul videos. But what I wanted to do is I want to start once the season changes too, you'll see me and Josie do our antique road trips. Nice. So we get in the car and we'll drive Pennsylvania all over and we'll do these road trips and we'll go hunting.
Oh, I saw Ma. I'm sorry, I was trying to see Ma Dukes back there. She walked away.
Right there in the garage. But and then what I want to do is I'm working on trying to do a new series. The year is 2020, right? My Etsy store has 20 different categories. So what I want to do is a series called 20 for 20, where I highlight a few pieces from each one of my 20 sections. So almost like a show and tell informative style of it. So like, it kind of helps people learn about these different sections and what they should be looking for as a reseller. And then also the people that collect it, giving them a chance to like actually like see what I have to offer. Because like I want my channel to be, viewed by resellers, by buyers, by, people that are just looking to like enjoy themselves. Cause I mean, like, I'm a humble dude, but apparently Josie and I are kind of funny, I guess. So.
All 3 of you actually are very good.
Yeah, my mom is a riot. We all know that. But like, that's one like specific series I'm working on. And then, like I said, we'll be doing the antique road trips once the weather gets a little bit better too.
Mm-hmm. Nick, if we didn't have private health care, our portions would be much smaller. But they want us to be sick here and unhealthy because it all is a money pit.
Best soul food in DC, Baltimore, man.
Let's end with food. Let's end with the last question.
All I gotta say is, if you come to DC, you gotta get wings with mambo sauce.
Yeah.
And if you go to Maryland, you gotta go get some crabs with Old Bay.
Oh yeah, you gotta have blue crabs in Maryland.
Ben's Chili Bowl
Ken thinks it's Popeyes.
Ben's Chili Bowl is like a staple in DC too. So. Yeah, now I'm hungry.
Hitching post is really good. We have a hitching post, that's like a steakhouse, and
ours is a bar hitching post.
It's like a hitching. It's like, is that like a nice restaurant hitching post over there? Tim?
What's that? I don't know. My roommate has been talking about it. I didn't realize Authentic was still in here.
Yeah, he's talking about hitching post. Yeah.
Shout out to Authentic who stuck around.
He's like hooked on the chat now. Look at him.
Shout out to Authentic. He shot out an Instagram story, which brought us more viewers. Thank you.
And they all left immediately, but it's okay.
That's okay. I like numbers. There's Tim's Etsy store right there. If you want to click on that link and get it. You want to follow him and see what he's doing. It's so interesting. But what you have a Facebook page? Is it a page that people can go like? Yeah. I don't know.
So on Facebook, you can find there's Over the Years Finds, which is going to be strictly all my Etsy items. And I'm in the process of launching the Over the Years eBay, which will feature more of my clothes and my other things. So I have 2 Instagram accounts, Over the Years Collecting, which has all of the antiques and collectibles. And then Over the Years eBay is like all my other cool stuff that I found that doesn't fall into the like China and glass and all that stuff.
Okay.
So like, cause I kind of, I built that whole over the years collecting, like, and it has like, almost 3,000 followers, but they're all into like the glass and the china and stuff. So over the years, eBay is like growing at a very organically slow rate. So so jump on over to there and let's push that.
Yeah. So I'll try to put all these links in the description, guys.
Yeah,
We need to try to do this again. I have so much fun listening because I have too much talking, but I like to listen to your.
Before we sign out, I just want to send my super amount of love and appreciation to Tracy and Tommy, because they have been absolutely amazing to me and have welcomed me and have introduced me to so many different people on YouTube. And I am very grateful, and I cannot thank both of you enough for helping push me along this journey of like learning new things, reselling on eBay, to YouTube, to List Perfectly, to every little thing that you guys do. I really do appreciate it.
We can do that, but if people don't like you, it doesn't matter. It won't help. But people are fascinated by your journey, so you got to give yourself a lot of the credit. I mean, we can put you out there to our 40 subscribers, but you are the one that's got to like, get people to like you and follow you, and that's what you're good at. And you're into something rare. You're so unique. It's just, I still can't. I'm like, this guy should be playing basketball or something, not glass.
I play every Monday night.
Yeah. See?
I'm hoping, here's what I hope happens from this. I hope everyone can share this video out so people can find him. And I hope you can share his, YouTube and Etsy store out on your social media, because this guy deserves it. He's got the knowledge. He's putting the effort out there. He's incredible. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. So, and even things like hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment down below, that's going to help YouTube push this video out, and I'll re-keyword it. We got to get this guy going big time. So I think all together we can.
He's always in our chats. So like and a lot of our chats, like not just ours. I mean, like everyone's chat. So
yeah, I try to be involved with as many channels as I can, because like it's more than just karma. It's just like I said, I learned so much from everybody else's channels, and at the same time, it's like I'm a supportive guy. Like I want to see people succeed, and like it's important as a community that we all help each other and continue to push each other, because that's just going to create better things for the community as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is. And like they just said, like Authentic said, although you're not very good at basketball, he schooled you on Monday.
Yeah, he got me a couple of times.
But Candace said your channel will grow because you're genuine and passionate, and that's like the words I was looking for, but I didn't have. So she said it better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's amazing too. Like she went back, she did the coolest thing. She went back and like commented on all my videos, like asking questions and stuff like that, trying to help with numbers and stuff. And like I was super appreciative of that. And then make sure you guys go check out her latest video. She did the premiere earlier today. It was really interesting and cool too. So
it was, and she's supportive, and she's very supportive in the community, definitely.
Yeah, she's awesome on Instagram. Like,
so Glock 30 tip. The other tip was he saw in my latest video I had my drawers were poking.
I saw that too. I almost commented.
When my mom was filming, she was whispering to me the whole time, "Pull up your pants. I can see your drawers."
Yeah, weren't they pink? I think they were pink.
They were red stripes.
Okay.
My balance was off on the phone.
Okay. I don't judge if you have pink underwear. You got pink underwear.
Pink is in. I got a really nice pink Peter Millar vest I got put up.
There you go. See, Peter Millar. He's learning the names now. He got the lingo.
Oh, y'all are in for it. Y'all are in for it. I'm on a whole nother level now.
And Tommy, are you late or not? Okay.
55 minutes.
Yes. Okay. And don't forget, everybody, to go over to Back from Burnout, Mel's channel, and check out. Tommy's going to be on there with Mel, so it's going to be a great.
I'm nervous. I'm kind of the one to stay here.
What about that picture though that Mel put up on of Tommy? Looking like
my old
a GQ model.
I know. I saw that. It looked like a date.
She gonna have people mad at the world, thinking
I thought that was Mark Wahlberg in the Calvin Klein ad for a second. Tommy,
now she like found my old picture. I was laughing. I was dying. I was like, wow.
Tommy's going to take his hat off tonight, I heard. So go over there, check it out.
One more thing to look out for.
Yeah.
May never get out the dang stores. I know, right?
And then tomorrow night, I'm also going to be on Lotta Josh channel.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
I will be there. I hope everyone will. I don't think we need a link even because everybody knows a lot of Josh.
Yeah, so awesome.
That'll be great. You guys are gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, he's gonna be a big help because he's so, when he likes someone, he's so good at giving them the push they need to get above water in YouTube.
And he's another dude too that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I reached out to him a couple of times when I had a question and needed some help, and it was like instantaneously responded back, like humble dude. Like, to me, that's like, there's so many people like that in this community that like is awesome. So like, don't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get offended or, you know, like step back by like some people that are not going to help you, that think they're too big for that stuff, because there are a lot of people out there that are like willing to help us, and it's amazing.
Yeah, the Tinder pic. Everybody says my Tinder pic. Remember, Paul Turner used to be like, take that picture off of there, because I didn't realize, like, when we were fresh and new, I didn't realize whatever your thumbnail is, like when you create it, when they're waiting for you to go live, there's a monster picture of it there.
Yeah, so it was just Tommy's face that's in Mel's thumbnail, like staring at him.
And I would have never known if Paul Turner, like, because most people don't say anything, even though they're thinking it. Probably they just don't say. But Paul's one of those people that's like,
you probably helped a lot of people out just sitting there. The later it would sit there.
I was like, what are we doing here? I was like, why didn't I know this? It was so embarrassing. I had to take it off. And then,
it was funny to see that she chose that. I was like, holy shit, I haven't seen that picture in ages.
I know. Well, I don't have any pictures online anywhere though.
It was hilarious. I saw it and I was like, okay, I see you, GQ.
That's the only picture I got online that she could grab, I guess. It's funny because she, oh god, people are gonna be so disappointed.
Nah.
That's the other thing that's super cool. Last thing that's super cool, like Australia, Canada.
I know, right? It's fascinating.
It's amazing.
It is.
Okay, we need to get you over to the UK. So here.
I love, man. And Becca, when they together, like the chemistry, the laughing, like it's just. I mean, like I love them. Like it's crazy. Like Australia, UK, Canada. Like to think that I'd be like interacting with these people, like all.
We've met so many good people.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're gonna shut down. So let's head over to Mel's after you grab a bite to eat. And
still 70 people in here. Wow.
I hate leaving.
Yeah, look, I knew she was gonna pipe in. That pig's 5 years old. They will be. I think it was 5 years old when I met her.
That's sad. It's okay. Everybody loves you. It's all good. Don't worry. Okay, so thank you, Tim, Tommy. Bye, guys. Thank you for the super chats. Everybody here is amazing. And we're out of here. Bye.